So good afternoon, gentlemen, and good afternoon, audience. So this panel discussion is on railway modernization and station redevelopment, designing a modern urban metro system and well-connected railway. So I am the panel moderator, and these are our panelists. So let's begin.
So we begin?
Yes, of course.
Good afternoon to all of you. My name is Rakesh Prasad, and I represent APL Apollo Pipes and Tubes. So, going by the topic of the discussion, which involves connectivity, which involves innovation in civil construction technology. So I would like to keep myself. I would like to, since APL Apollo is a building construction material company, so I would like to take my views, share my views of how APL Apollo has been able to contribute successfully and in a better way, bringing about different innovations in the industry. So I'll be sharing that, So before that, I would like to share who we are as a company. APL Apollo is the largest company in the country. In fact, not only in the country, in the world, with a 4.5 million tons capacity of pipes and tubes. We have grown 24% year on year for the last 5 years, and today our turnover exceeds about 20,000 crores with a market capitalization of 40,000 crores. We are equipped with 12 plants all over the country to cater to our customers, south, east, west, north. So, in a way, strategically, we are very, very close to any customer throughout the country. We have a distribution network of around 800 distributors, 25 branch offices, 25 warehouses, 50,000 dealers, and we work with almost 1 lakh fabricators throughout the country. We train them. So that is in brief about APL Apollo. Now, coming to the latest innovation which we have brought in, my colleague, Mr. Lalit Tyagi, he shared in the morning about our corporate film, and he explained that how we were able to manage 6 hospitals in Delhi within 100 days. Had this been a conventional methodology, it would have taken 2 years plus, but we did it in 3 months' time. So imagine the return on investment for the government. Imagine our tubular technology takes care of pollution levels. You must have heard, you must have noticed, I understand most of you are from Delhi. During November, December, January, the entire construction in Delhi and in Bangalore goes for a standstill. The government bans it. Why? Because of the concrete pollution which is created in the atmosphere. So the tubular technology which you saw in the morning, it doesn't create any pollution. It takes care of it doesn't need any water. So water scarcity is again one aspect which tubular technology takes care of. It gives a better carpet area, 2% to 3%. Time of construction, if I have to say, it reduces your time almost by 30 to 50%. Now coming to the projects which you saw in the morning, we are very closely working with Indian Railways. and Airport Authority of India. I'm pleased to share that as on date, we are almost approved in 40 railway stations for our different products. And we are working on tubular technology with almost 15 railway stations throughout the country. So that means the client, the government, they got convinced about the tubular technology, that how this can save money in terms of construction time, in terms of overtime, cost overrun, and time overrun. So this is who we are. And with respect to airports, the first airport in India, Prayagraj Airport, is being built on tubes. I'm very happy to share this. And we are also building a lot of projects in residential, commercial, housing, as my colleague has already explained to you in the morning. So when I talk about the technology, it would also be relevant to share that no technology is successful unless it becomes sustainable. So I'll just be sharing a few lines on sustainability. What is our company doing, Despite the fact that we are innovating, we are bringing good products which the customer is preferring. As far as sustainability is concerned, all our products are environmental friendly. And our products, they are helping the nature. Almost 3 lakh trees we are saving every year to be cut down. 3 lakh trees. You can imagine the content and the quantum, This is one of the biggest sustainability factors which we are contributing to the nature, So I find lots of consultants in the audience, and my request to all of them would be to consider and for our steel building solutions, because this would be the future, This would be the future. A concrete construction taking about 2 to 3 years. We do it in 6 months' time. Lots of savings for the client, for the customer. Having 12 plants all over the country, my lead time is 7 to 10 days, which enhances your construction time. So with all this, if anybody from the audience would like to have some more clarification, I would request each one of you. My stall is right behind, and you can visit, and we can further explain it to you. Right. Thank you. Thank you,
ma'am. Just a small question, since I am from the Indian Railways, and you said that you have been Indian Railways as an esteemed customer. So, what are the main various projects of railways to which your company has contributed?
We have one of the railway stations right now which is being built is Tirupati. Mm-hmm. Then we are taking on Bangalore. Delhi, CST, Ahmedabad is further down. We have already been approved by Indian Railways for all these stations. There are a lot of other stations also, Aurangabad, Jalna, on which our design team is already working here.
So, are there some challenges that you face while working with the railways?
Challenges?
Do you encounter any challenges, any hurdles?
I would not say any challenges, but it took us some time to convince the Indian Railways. It took us almost about a year's time. But yes, that is, I believe that is quite a normal time, Mm-hmm. Because Indian Railways is such a big organization, different stakeholders for us. explaining to them.
What is your project turnover time?
Sorry?
Your project turnover time?
Project turnover time?
Your project completion time, how long does it take, average on
It depends. It depends upon the area of the project. Like what in the morning we said it's about 22 lakh square feet, 6 hospitals. We did it in 3 to 4 months' time. The super skeleton structure, you know.
I see.
So and had it been a conventional methodology of construction, 2 years, 3 years,
I see.
it would have taken for sure.
So do you have any markets other than India also?
Sorry?
Are you operating in any country other than India also? Your operations are limited to India, or is it?
We are exporting to almost 60 countries around the world.
I see.
60 countries.
Okay. That's good.
And just for your info, ma'am, we have recently bagged an order from Northern Railway for about 3,000 tons.
That's good.
And we are doing a lot of structural work in Jalandhar.
Very good. No, I asked you because most of the Indian companies nowadays are operating in Middle East and in other South Asian countries also, like Malaysia.
Yeah.
Especially Indian railways have concerns in Africa, Middle East,
Right.
and in countries like Malaysia. So that's why I was asking you.
We have a plant in Dubai also,
I say,
which is taking care of entire UAE.
okay.
And rest of the countries, USA, Canada, Australia, Europe, we export from here.
Okay. That's good.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Very appreciable.
Good afternoon, one and all. Good afternoon, ma'am. And good afternoon. Oh, yes, please.
This is not working. This is not working.
He's talking about your sustainability.
Yes. We are manufacturing, can you hear me? We are manufacturing to the extent of 1,000 by 1,000.
1,000 by 1,000.
1,000 by 1,000. Most of the competitor friends of mine, they stop at 200, 300 max.
What is the wall thickness for 1,000?
Sorry?
A section of 1,000?
1,000 and 1,000
Wall thickness?
with thickness 40 mm.
Yes, okay. So tell me about the sustainability. Thank you, sir.
Sustainability, we have one of the products, steel door frames. Now earlier we used to have the wooden door frames.
Yes.
Right?
MS pressed.
हाँ, तो वो जो लकड़ी की चौखट होती थी, वो 3-4 महीने बाद they used to be eaten by termites.
But that's true. But in case of that, you are told about the frame, about the pressed steel frame, we have seen that there is a lot of problem with regard to the corrosion.
I couldn't get you, sir.
We have seen that you are told that you are preparing steel frames of the doors and windows. But in that regard, we have seen that there is a lot of corrosion problem into that.
We take care of the corrosion by, through applications of different paints, You're talking about corrosion.
Yes.
So we take care of the corrosion through the application and through the usage of different paints, We can share with you the names of the paints after this panel discussion.
Okay, I'll take it.
My stop.
Sir, my last question is, because you are saying that as regards the tubular structures, the large span structures like this, suppose. So how do you handle the flexibility with respect to the slab?
Can you please repeat your question?
Yes, my question is, sir, as regards the tubular structure, there are frames is all tubular. And with regard to the large spans, when we provide the flooring,
Yeah.
then there is a flexibility problem.
So, sir, we'll handle this question on the stall after the session is over.
Okay, sir. Thank you,
right?
thank you,
My
thank you.
technical person is there, we'll handle this question.
Because of the displacement at sagging.
It's a very specific, detailed question. He said he will address you after the panel
we'll-
discussion is over. Definitely.
Lalit, are you there? Yeah, okay, fine.
Good afternoon, one and all. Good afternoon, ma'am. Good afternoon, all the delegates on the dais. I think I took enough time in the morning, so I'll make it very crisp and clear about railway modernization. Here we need to think about two main parameters. One is humans, who are the beneficiaries by any means, even if it is dedicated freight corridors, at the end it is humans. And the passengers definitely are now the primary beneficiary because they are being transported from here and there. So very first thing is hygiene, electrical safety, their expectations. Like as I said, the railways modernization should now compete with the airports, and it should be far more better than that. But not only in terms of decorations or kind of structure and curves and everything. In airports, we have AEDs, artificial defibrillating devices. So someone who has got an electric shock or cardiac arrest, we have to restart his heart in engineering language. But we don't see that in any of the metros, any of the railways. So I'm saying in the safety aspect of that end, because electricity is going to be the prime fuel for the electrified railways, metros, the infrastructure, and that is where, if the electricity is not properly being used, it can be a boon or it can also be a curse. There are multiple fires. We have seen in one of the banks, when I used to do audits as well, 2 floors were cooked, burnt, blacked out, and 3 people died into that floors. This was a building, and 6th and 7th floor this happened. And it was just because one choke of the bulb, it was superheated, that deteriorated the plywoods and charcoaled it, and in due course of time it just ignited the fire. So we should have stringent terms of having fitness check of your electrical system, and that too with proper equipments. Now second comes with people. So people should also be handled in a proper way, like what we see at Mumbai in locals. So you will see, I don't want to enter into this local after looking at that crowd and rush and push everywhere. So there should be certain systems during the design and architecture so that the flow of these people is done, and maybe the security products that we have displayed, this if they can be consulted with some specialist, and how it has to be placed so that the people go into proper directions without making any crowd, how that crowd is dispersed, emergencies, any stampede happens, so what should be our point of assembly points. These 2 sections would be highly important here. And as a potential wish, my request would be, because railways is, I'll say, even if it is metros, it's much economic to get into a platform and do mischief and just get out. But it's not that easy to get into an airport. You don't have a platform ticket. Even if you want to buy a ticket, it's 6,000 rupees. So people will think about getting into an airport to do some mischief and run away. So here, at least, I'll request all the panelists, all the members here. I attended one session of a top official from Microsoft last week at Adani, and they have indicated AI has been used to identify abnormalities in flow of people from one point to other point. If someone is acting in a culprit way, that can be automatically detected and given back to the security people. So if we all can also think about this AI to be imbibed into the software pattern into the security systems. That will be a really modernized way, which I'll say. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
That's a nice brief presentation on security concerns in industrial installations and establishments. And you rightly pointed out that artificial intelligence has a lot of role to play. In fact, even in the Indian Railways where I'm working, artificial intelligence is now increasingly being employed. Say, it is being employed to detect fog in the locomotives or to detect defect in the rolling stock while the train is on the run. It is used in warning systems and accident warning systems in local trains. So now increasingly artificial intelligence is being relied upon. Even in weather forecasting, like artificial intelligence is used to gather data about impending storms and cyclones, something like tsunami. So it can give a warning much beforehand so that the people who are likely to be affected can be evacuated. So artificial intelligence is closely connected. In fact, even in the field of traffic management, like in road safety, now even in India, sensors are imbued into the traffic light. So when any vehicle is speeding, then the speed camera catches it, and then the fine is levied. And even when there are errors in parking, then a ticket is sent to that vehicle owner, and a fine has to be paid online. So it is being increasingly used, and it has much more potential, like in the days to come. And in a very populous country like India, like, yes, it has. And in fact, to detect the movement of terrorists, suspicious movements, like artificial intelligence can be wisely used. Yes, please. Next speaker.
Yeah. Good afternoon once again. So we have been discussing about the, how we can value add to the modernized railway stations. As of now, what we have seen on the railway stations, we see a lot of scope to improve in terms of safety, in terms of security, and definitely revenue maximization for the railways. So presently, I'll be very, to the point, and I'll keep it very simple. And I mentioned so many things in my presentation as well. Dormakaba as a company is, pioneer in so many areas, and globally we are having more than 1800 patents registered in our name. We are innovators in so many products and solutions. And right from the micro level to the top level, we are having so many products which add value to the people, to the society, and to the different verticals of the, a country or I would say, economy. So when we talk about safety, security, and revenue maximization, it can be, well achieved through the digitalization. So now the age of digitalization, we cannot talk about those orthodox, manual things. We used to go to the railway stations, I remember, and we were in a queue to take a ticket. Now people have understood the value of digitalization, and average educated or average person can even book a ticket online. And if you are not able to do it, you can go to an agent and you can get it done. So you need not to go to the railway stations and in early morning and just stand in the queue. So point is, you can book a ticket, you can travel with the help of the ticket. So what is next? So just buying a ticket online is not enough. You have to take it to the next level. So next level is your safety and security. I mean, when you are using a digitalized ticket, you can use that same ticket to access the platform. And to access the platform, you should have a mechanism which is integrated between that ticket and the entrance. And that is your sensor barriers or your swing barriers. So whenever you are entering a station, be it a QR ticket or an instant ticket through the railway station or whatever, there should be a proper mechanism or a medium which can be used to access the station. As of now, just before 1 or 2 years back, we were talking about the technology and we were talking about the modernized airports. Even on airports, what you used to do, you used to just show your ticket and Aadhaar card, then you used to enter the high-class airport. And I'm sure many of us still doing this in the airports. So even I, for that matter, 6 months back, I was using that manual system. I used to take the ticket and just show my boarding pass or Aadhaar
Now
card to
Digi
that.
Yatra is there. You download
Digi Yatra is there, yeah.
Digi Yatra app, and that is
Right.
a seamless solution for check-in.
Exactly. So one of my friends sitting here, he just encouraged me to install the Digi Yatra. I was not using Digi Yatra at that time. So I told him, yeah, it's a tedious job, this and that, and how would I be benefited from that Digi
If
Yatra?
not Digi Yatra, at least you can do web check-in.
Yes, exactly. Before your journey starts, what do? You just upload your boarding pass in the Digi Yatra app. It takes hardly a second.
Yeah.
Just scan it and it is there in your account. Okay. Then you go on the airport, just drop from your taxi, just enter the Digi Yatra. It will be a shorter queue.
Now most of the passengers are using Digi Yatra. In fact, if you go to the airport, then you will find that 80% of the passengers are using Digi Yatra and
Exactly.
only 20% are otherwise.
Exactly. So what I wanted to mention here is, we are skeptical to the change. But when you accept the change, it becomes very easy for you to navigate. So now we are using Digi Yatra, we are saving time, we are saving resources, we are saving everything. The same thing can be implemented in railway stations as well.
Yes,
So it is very difficult.
not only that, in fact, nowadays there are two options. Either you check in at the counter,
Right.
like you have your boarding pass and you check in at the counter, where they weigh your luggage. Otherwise, you can do self-checking. So there is a kiosk where there's a weighing machine. You weigh your goods there,
Right.
and a boarding pass is printed on
Right.
the system. So you need not go to the counter.
Check-in counter, right.
Check-in counter.
Right,
So
right.
there are many levels of automation. In order to achieve 100% automation, you need that much of digital literacy also. And psychologically, it is a bit distressing if everything is 100% digitized and the manual interface is entirely done away with.
Right.
So even that is not good.
Yes.
So there has to be a right mix of digitization as well as human interface.
Right. So future is that only, digitalization. Otherwise, what you can do, you can just keep stuck on those manual things. So by using the technology, by using the expertise of OEM, we can implement such solutions in the railway platforms as well, though it is very difficult because the target audience of a railway station and target audience of an airport
Yes, but even
is,
that has an environmental impact. For
Yeah.
example, 5G is now come for increasing your speed of your network. But even 5G has environmental impacts because when it was being tested in Netherlands, and it is said that there was some ducks swimming in a pond, and when they were exposed to the 5G waves, they died. So that is taking its toll as well. So I think the only toll is to reduce the population and to reduce our wants ultimately.
So population reduction is one means we can, implement, but it's very difficult for a country like us. We are a very
Yes,
diversified country.
sustainability is the future.
Yes, right,
And
exactly.
reducing your carbon footprints is the future.
Exactly. So net zero we are talking about. Every time we are talking about net zero,
Net zero, yeah.
how to achieve net zero. It's very difficult. The world is very small, but the
Because if
actions
we
are
don't
very-
talk of net zero, then the earth will become zero.
Exactly. So the point is we should utilize the technology, available resources, and to maximize the safety, security, and revenue for the government. This is the intent of Dwarka as an OEM, and we are on the job. Thank you.
Very good.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Good afternoon, everyone. Myself, Santosh. I represent a company called Celcom Solutions. So we had a session in the first half. I think most of you have seen it. See, our role comes in, the RF coverage enhancement. See, now, we heard from, the industry experts or industrial leaders that, what is the future of railway. So if you look at, even I can take the example of this room itself. More than watching of many of us are, looking at the mobile, they are doing their own works. So we can just imagine the situation, if you don't have the coverage, then what is the situation?
You have a more engaged audience.
Yeah. So we cannot even, today's, world without proper coverage. So what we do is, We give a solution to enhance the mobile coverage or the private network coverage inside the premises when it comes to the metro railway, inside the tunnels, underground stations. So as we explained in our the first half section, if you look at the networks which are being used in railway or metros, it's not a bit complicated because we have a lot of networks, be it private or be it public. Even if you talk about the private networks, we have VHF, we have Tetra, and we have LTE. Now even if we talk about the public networks, so we have many things from 2G, 3G, 4G. Now we are talking about 5G. So, bringing all this, what you call technologies together, so that is something, where, our strength. So, as a company, so what we do is we start from the survey, we design it, we manufacture it, we supply.
What is your product?
We mainly use, what you call the coverage enhancement solution product, like, the repeaters, boosters, then the cables, antennas. I'll take an example of metro.
Network equipment.
Yeah, metro, metro, even the rail. And normally our, this comes underground tunnels or inside the tunnels or inside the premises. What I mean, the outdoor, the coverage, that is not sufficient because there, to enhance the coverage, we have to have a dedicated indoor solutions. So that is the place our strength comes. As I mentioned, we are the OEM, so our manufacturing unit is in Bangalore. And what we do is, we don't stop our work just, by doing the installation. We take care of the maintenance also on a long-term basis. So coming back to this, the private network, a couple of projects we are doing with the railway, mainly on the VHF, like Central Railway and metro. Most of the metros, we have given our solutions.
Okay.
Yeah,
Do you have
and-
any concern with RailTel as well?
Yeah, we are working with rail. One of the current project what we are doing is the Central Railway, especially the Igatpuri, Lonavala, Karjat section.
I
That
see.
work is going on. And metro also, if you look at, Calcutta Metro, Delhi Metro, Lucknow, most of the metros, we have given our solutions. And normally our solution comes in the underground tunnels, where the
see.
coverage will be dead. Definitely you have to have a solution.
I see.
So it's a pure Indian company, and we have offices outside India also. We have presence in Qatar, Middle East, and we have 3 subsidiaries in African continents, and we are planning to expand our operations outside.
Very good.
All the manufacturing happens in Bangalore, and we do a lot of exports. Thank you.
So would you like to make a comment on internet accessibility in India? So what is your opinion of internet accessibility? Because the data suggests that internet penetration is increasing.
Right.
And over the next 5 years or so, we will achieve about 80% internet coverage.
Correct. Definitely, as you rightly mentioned, definitely that is, that is going to be one of the booming these things. So that's the place, even if you talk about, as I mentioned, mainly the usage comes in the indoor premises, mainly whether it is in the public networks. Inside the building, most of us, even in our case, when we are outside, we don't use much. When we sit somewhere or when we travel it, those are the places where you use it. There, definitely, the consumption is going to be more. And now, we have different frequencies. Even if you look at, we have 3G, 4G, and the bandwidth is going to be more. So what we have to do is, we have to give a very optimized solution by taking care of all these frequencies.
Okay.
That's the way we can, improve the situation.
So do you foresee your company operating in rural areas as well?
Yeah. We operate in rural. See, our actually, more than the developed, our solutions, normally it is requires in the undeveloped positions. Definitely rural, yes, it is there. And most of this, what you call the railways and all I'm talking about, this is mainly in the rural areas only.
Because like now we have a concept of digital divide.
Exactly.
So earlier the society was divided into those who have and who have not.
Right.
And now the society is divided into those who have access to net and those who don't have access to net.
Exactly.
So that is the new class
Yeah,
system.
that's correct. Even, now most of our products, even we are converting from analog to the digital. Most of the new products, it's purely
Yeah.
the digital.
That's
So
correct.
that we can monitor in a better way. The main challenge is, mainly the operation and maintenance, especially this, rural railways, where it is an operational railways. You cannot visit every time. So we have a, what you call the monitoring mechanism.
Yes,
so we are
sir.
trying to avoid the manual visits as much as possible.
Yes, there are reports in the media about railway coolie who qualified PCS and civil services just by reading on Google
Right.
at the railway station. So
Exactly.
all that we hear about those
And the morning, even your
legends.
presentation, you were talking about e-ticketing and all those things. So the Google Pen also same. If in case if you don't have the coverage, then that purpose will not be met.
That's true.
Right. Thank you all.
So are there any questions you would like to ask of one another? Any observations?
Question. Dear delegates, don't take this this question as a personal one. Sir, how about your, I'm not sure if the products are different, Same with you as well. I've seen in EPCs and railways, so the quality consciousness is a bit disconnect. Sorry, it's not a personal attack. I'm just making my point here. If at all it's a tender, which is a project, EPC picks up that project. In that situation, don't we all feel that it is a duty of EPC to actually offer the good and correct products for the applications?
What is EPC?
Contractors.
Contractors who get the job.
Contractors. Right.
Okay.
So in this situation, what happens is the cheapest Chinese products are being supplied. I'm not sure with your industry if it happens or not, but with our test and measurement, we have seen, yes, if it is just basically, so Chinese makes, I will not name them, but they are accepted and the quality is not delivered. So my only query is, how do we reinstate that
Are you talking about railways as a customer or are you talking about?
railways as a customer?
Okay. Chinese products are, in any case, they are of dubious reputation. One is not sure about them, and in many cases the issue of copyright is there because there are lots of copyright infringement. So if you buy their product, then you may be susceptible to that kind of a legal action. And the world over, they are looked at with suspicion. For example, Huawei routers, so they have been banned in many countries, and they had been supplying, I think, at some point of time to railways also, but even the railways opted out. But there are some fields in which there is collaboration with Chinese companies in heavy engineering, I came to know. But overall, Chinese products are discouraged for various reasons.
As you said, ma'am, the Chinese products are discouraged, so maybe unofficially, but on the papers, if you have mentioned certain specifications and you mention certain makes, so it opens doors for those Chinese makes and you cannot restrict. EPC contractor being a contractor, it always talk about the cost. And he clearly say, until a make is meeting tender specifications, we are fine with it. Even the department cannot deny it because department itself has approved those makes and specifications. So as he rightly said, Anand, that the quality is compromised, performance is compromised, and most of the important thing is security is compromised because it's if I talk about my product, it's all about security and safety. There are companies which belongs to US, and US has a security agency which approves the makes particularly for their private companies who are operating in some other country. And they decide that these XYZ makes will not be used in your corporate office even if you are operating in outside US. Because, and specifically Chinese companies, they have clearly banned the Chinese companies. And it's very difficult for Chinese to enter those corporates. I've seen so many
Yeah,
cases.
even the Australian government industry is very stringent about it.
So are we doing something? See, it's a challenge. It's really a challenge, and we are also facing the same challenge. So are we doing something? And I'll request consultant
So it
fraternity
is not something
sitting-
to the railways as such, because the Indian railways is a part of the overall economy, and it's an economic, it's a policy. So Chinese products have not been banned altogether. Like there was this issue of Chinese apps, and there were very many Chinese apps at one point of time. They were removed from the Play Store, and there was an international outcry. They were used for so many illegal things. So they are always they are on red notice, and maybe at some pockets of Indian Railways. Railways is a very big organization, so they may be meeting the local criteria. But overall, in very big projects, I don't think the Chinese products and services are being used. For example, if you go to United Kingdom, you see Chinese companies, they are being awarded very big civil engineering contracts floated by the British government. And in fact, they even prefabricate some of the components and they ship it from China and they assemble it in UK, and they save lots of costs and they save manpower. But I don't think it is being done as a matter of policy in India, because had the doors been opened, like floodgates been opened to Chinese companies, then it would have been very different. But so far as possible, I think the government is trying as much as possible to restrict, to at least to regulate their entry.
So maybe due to the restrictions of WTO, we cannot take that step directly. But yes, I have seen many government departments who are putting particular clauses in the tender itself, like land border clause. Land border clause says if a participant is having a factory or an R&D unit in neighboring countries, it cannot participate in that particular tender because of the security concerns.
Yeah,
Like
obviously,
China, like other countries, Pakistan is completely banned, that is not the question, but I'm talking about the China. So can we put that kind of clauses in the tender? And I request to the consultant fraternity or the people sitting here.
See,
who
it's
are
a
busy
legal
with
matter and I am not competent to comment on that. But China is the biggest trading partner of India, I think, if I know correctly, followed by USA. So it's not, I don't think as a matter of economic policy or international policy, it is possible to just do away with China. You cannot just do away with the Chinese. It's the factory of the world and the Chinese are everywhere. They have everything except good English skills.
Right. Right.
Just add upon, as ma'am rightly mentioned, it is not only for Indian Railways. What happens when the tender is, when tender releases, most of the tenders, comes with the standard qualification criteria, like, the vendor who is going to participate. He must be having 5 years experience or similar 2-3 projects and all those things. Now what is happening about, so we are talking about the Make in India. So many Indian companies, they started manufacturing. So they may not have, 5 years or, what you call 3-4 projects. So that is something to be looked into it, as both of them rightly mentioned. Now that is the area I think where we have to work upon as a team, and there is room for the improvement. Otherwise, what is happening is in many places what we have seen is that because of this the Make in India concept, the Indian companies, what happens they are unable to participate in many of the tenders, though they have all other what you call the legal qualification, but because of some predefined the qualification criteria. So not only for railways, that is most of the segment, that is what is happening.
Because the rules of world trade, they favor greater trade relations between countries, and it is not possible to ban any country outright because there is international trade. So if we were to like pick and choose any particular country from exporting its products and services, then they would retaliate, and we would also lose our market in their countries. So it's not it's a bilateral thing. So it's not just
Yeah, that's correct.
because we exist in a world.
Right. And the second one, you mentioned about the quality. So what you have seen is that when the tender is out, there are many concerned parties in between, starting from the end customer, then the consultant, then the EPC, system integrators, OEMs. So everybody needs time. Everybody takes their own time. Then finally it comes on the vendor, who has to execute the project in a very short time. So he may not get enough time to execute the work. So many places what happens he will have very short time. Then definitely he has to compromise on the quality because he will not have enough time. So he has to put the manpower, continuously do the works. And all those things, I feel, some of the things we have to work as a team and, come out from all those challenges. Yes.
I think
Excuse me, just wanted to raise
Yes, sir.
an issue. As you mentioning about the two things, one was regarding the security issue, and also you mentioned about the border, border issue, land border issue and all. So whenever we are having the multilateral funding, whenever the funding is being done by, say, either World Bank or some other banks and all, so in that cases, the land border policies do not apply, because it has to be an open tendering process. So that's why the Chinese products can enter the systems, especially in the metros areas and all, where a lot of funding is being done through the various banks and all. But recently, Indian Railways has taken a very nice decision, and only Indian Railways so far, not metros so far as of now, only about a month back. Now, Indian Railways mentioned that wherever we are installing the CCTV systems for stations and other area, it has to be certified by STQC, the Standard Telecommunication and Quality Certification, and it's a mandatory now. So unless the product and the system is approved tested by STQC, nothing will go in the record. So a lot of work has now got stalled of RailTel and all, because until the STQC approval comes up. So that is an indirect way of checking that nothing goes out of the country, especially the TCP/IP traffic going out of the country. And there's also basically routable not only through the cameras and all, also to our switches also, routers and all. So this is a very good pattern that my board has made directions about 2 months back.
It's a great step, I think. This similar kind of means and measure we want to implement or we expect to implement.
What I would like to share, we have been dealing with Indian Railways for the last 5 to 6 years. And we have really found that they are also maturing, you know. We all are maturing. We all are evolving.
We are works in progress.
I find the best consultants hired by Indian Railways. I find the best architects hired by Indian Railways as on today's date, you know. And we all would be aware that the ministry headed by Mr. Honorable Ashwani, he is himself a structural engineer. So despite lot of flaws in the earlier system, things have improved a lot in last 2 to 3 years' time, you know. As I said, they have the best consultants, they have the best architects on their board, you know. That's what I want to say.
Thank you all participants, and thank you audience. Thank you Tricon Group for hosting this event. And it was very nice being a part of it. Thank you very much.